What's going on, y'all? It's JD Pickell. Today on the Hard Count, Quinn Ewers made his Texas debut. We're going to talk about his spring game. Welcome into CFB with JD, the People's Channel. Everything you know, everything you love about college football. It happens here on a nearly daily basis. Armstrong Sims, Jack McKenzie, doing some real heavy lifting behind the operation. You can help drive the show at my Twitter page, at JD Pickell. So if you own a television or a phone or have any access at all to social media, then you know that Quinn Ewers made his spring game debut for the Texas Longhorns. Now, why is this important? Well, because for the last, I don't know, however many months since they stopped playing games and since Ewers transferred to Texas, this has been the storyline. Man from Texas, went to Ohio State, came back to Texas, and now he's here to bring the Longhorns back to prominence. But before that, you got to have spring football. And so we're going to talk a little bit about his performance breakdown, what we saw. It was kind of a quirky format for the spring game. It wasn't, okay, let's split you up into two teams and let the best team win. It was more of a offense versus defense, 100 live plays. Sarkisian even said, we're not going to call it like it's a normal game because we just can't based on what we're doing here with this depth. So offensive line depth was a big issue. We saw that in the game itself. But to set the table a little bit, Ewers has come to Austin with enormous amount of pressure. He has been the undoubted, by the media, starter for Texas as of day one. People forget Hudson Card played a little bit for this team last season. Going into game one, Hudson Card was your starter. Coming out of game one, Hudson Card was your starter. Guys played some football, something that Quinn Ewers is still trying to catch up to. And that was the first thing that stood out to me. A lot of positives. If there was one negative to draw, it was that maybe the speed of the game is still something he's getting used to. I know they've done 11 on 11. That's live in practice. I know they've done, I'm sure, a myriad of scrimmages when he was at Ohio State. But the fact of the matter is, they're a lot faster in college than they are at the high school level. And Quinn Ewers should technically just have graduated high school if he graduated early and be getting on campus for spring football. That was the original plan, was, okay, finish half my senior year, play my senior season, then get on campus. These dudes move a lot faster than he's used to. So I know he's played in practices, but to get some live game, I use game in quotes, action, it's a big deal. I think he's going to eventually get there. In terms of positives, though, the dude threw a couple dots. Like his deep shot to Isaiah Nayer that was about 62 yards on a dime, hit him in stride. I wasn't there in Austin, obviously, but that blew the roof off the place. Like, that was what everybody and their mother expected of Quinn Ewers when he got to Austin. And so, as you can imagine, the Kool-Aid was being drunk. The Kool-Aid was being passed around. There was being more Kool-Aid made and passed to everyone in that stadium saying, hey, Quinn Ewers is our guy. At the end of the day, the moment lives phenomenally on the internet, but you still have to go into quarterback meetings the next day, still have to go to fall camp, still have to go and win the job, I think, eventually in fall camp. But Hudson Card played some good ball, too. I mean, we saw him do some things with his legs. That experience and speed of the game does show. Again, the sample size for both these guys is a little bit skewed because of what they don't have on the offensive line in this spring game. If you saw the offensive line as a more finished product, as what you think it will expect it to be in the fall, both quarterbacks probably fare a little bit better. Love the deep throw. I also loved what he did in the red zone to Xavier Worthy. A little RPO action. Worthy gets free on a slant, throws him on time, in stride, and he scores. And that was significant to me because that's the one part of the game where they're keeping score. Whole thing, like I said, 100 live plays, but they finished with a red zone competition. So to see the guy that you hope is going to be your starting quarterback step in and throw a dime in what would consider to be, I mean, as much as the spring game goes, that was crunch time. To see him play well in crunch time, that should get you excited about Quinn Ewers. The speed of the game, like I said, took a second for him to get there, but I want to make sure I emphasize this. He looked like he knew what he was doing. Like the dude is understanding and processing this playbook, which I think is more easier said than done because Sarkisian's an offensive mastermind. He's a genius. Say what you want about him as a person or a coach or whatever. He knows football, and he's given these quarterbacks a lot to chew on. So I think his high school background probably helps him, does Ewers, but still has to process a whole new college playbook, and he looks like he's doing it fairly well. So when that acumen meets speed of the game and those catch up to each other, that's when you expect Ewers to be dangerous. That's what fans are excited about. That's what's going to pay the bills. So what does this ultimately mean? Like, if you're going to take something away from a spring game, which I think you still should, I think there's some significance in spring games, but what do you take away from this? It's that he's not a finished product. And if you knew anything about college football, those of you that do know a lot about college football, and I like to think we have one of the most intelligent audiences in the content creation space, you understand, hey, he got on campus all of 15 minutes ago. He should have been a high school senior. It's going to take a little bit of time. He's going to get there. Quinn Ewers is, in regards to how the fan base views him, the hot new restaurant in town. You love the menu. You love what you've heard about it. You love the exterior. They've done a great job marketing the thing. There's a lot of buzz around the restaurant. And so you're going to believe your perception about this restaurant until you have enough data to say otherwise. Quinn Ewers, one of the highest rated quarterbacks ever in the high school recruiting cycles. A guy who's got a lot of buzz, and we've seen different snippets from practice where he's dropping dimes and making big plays and popping off the screen. But there's not enough data. So until then, you're going to believe your preconceived notion. That's not to say your notion is wrong. It's just to say it's going to take some time to get to that finished product to where people expect him to be. I believe he has all of the capability in the world to reach that ceiling, if not break through it, and to allow Texas to be really successful come fall. But again, it's a process. It's a product that's very much not finished, and we're going to cover all of it. That's it for us here on CFB with JD. This has been The Hard Count. We appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at JD Piquel. We are going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all